Some rare facts about Oudh are mentioned by William Lytton, who was a member of the household of King Nasiruddin Haider. In the reign of Nasiruddin Haider, the head of the police was Raja Bakhtar Singh. The Europeans in service of Nasiruddin Haider always took off their hats when the king turned towards them or addressed them. During the Muharram, there was no dancing, there were no European dinners and lavish parties in the palace. For 40 days, the king was only seen occasionally at a morning darbar and nowhere else. The king had made a vow before coming to the throne that if ever he did come to it, he would keep the Muharram not for 10 days as other people did, but for 40 days, and he kept his vow. He also writes about the peculiarity of rooms underground of the better class of homes in Lucknow. The fact of their having underground apartments to which the inhabitants retreat during the excessive heats of the hot season. According to him, it was strange that people burrow in the earth to escape intense cold in one part of the world. And people in Oudh adopt exactly the same means to avoid intense heat here. About the swamps of beggars which infest the streets and bazaars of Lucknow, he writes that all the male beggars go armed, carrying their arms jauntily as if by no means ashamed of their profession, rather glorifying it. There was one beggar of distinction in those days who had an elephant of his own and daily went round the city on it. He writes further that about the love of arms in the first place with respect to the armed population of Cairo and Moscow, that there was nothing similar in any of those places to Lucknow. The people of Moscow may wear knives upon their waists, and in Cairo one may occasionally see men with arms in their hands, but in Lucknow every man goes armed with matchlock or gun or pistol, mostly with a short bent sword called a talwar and a shield. Certainly one will find every man in Lucknow passing by. Even those engaged in the ordinary business of life have their talwars tucked in, while the idlers had both pistols and shields as well. However, otherwise mean their attire with their fierce-looking moustaches of the Rajputs and Pathans and the black beards of the Muslims. Talwar and shield together gave an eminently warlike air to the swaggering figures of the self-sufficient citizens. Oudh was the great nursery of soldiers for the company's army, and the forces of Bengal presidency came almost exclusively from Oudh. The love of arms is fostered from infancy into the inhabitants of Lucknow. An arrow or a spear was the usual plaything of the boys here. Small wooden models of talwars and pistols were put into the hands of the babies, just as English women give their children rattles to play with. He further writes that the streets of the town presented therefore an eminently novel aspect to him. It was as if he had found himself transported suddenly into some of the scenes of which he had read in childish histories and novels, in which all the men are heroes and show their heroism in their gait and manners.